All right, so we got Indiegogo coming out with some news, and it pertains to me because I'm a person who does like to try to help crowdfund when I can. And it does talk about a persistent problem. And actually, there's a critique video. Excuse me, I'm eating these delicious cucumber, soaked it in vinegar, like for a long time, so it's very soft. Anyway, so there's a thing where I was talking about campaign and updates, and I'm actually planning on getting to that video, editing it, and people aren't going to like it because I'm pointing out two people. One's a big one, and people are going to blindly defend this person when it happens, and I don't care. If you don't do the thing you need to be called out for it. Doesn't matter which side of the aisle you're on. But I've seen some people do some stuff where they're like, oh yeah, Indiegogo doesn't gatekeep, and Kickstarter gatekeeps, and that's what makes Kickstarter bad. And I'm like, well, that's your decision. I've had smoother transitions on campaigns with Kickstarter. For whatever reason, most times, I've only had one Kickstarter campaign really be late, like majorly late, like a couple years late. And the person started up a new Kickstarter, but, you know, I was declined to support it this time, not because I didn't understand the person's situation. They didn't keep me informed on what was going on. And it took like 2.5 years. It was a book. Not a bad book either, but, you know, I wouldn't mind seeing more. But now I know backing this person means that they're going to be late, and I'm not going to start a new campaign. Now, if he makes a sequel to that book, yes, because I want to know more of the story overall. But just as a campaign, it's kind of a no, because I don't trust you now. Well, I've had several things I've backed on Indiegogo, and I kind of slowed down because I understand some of it's with the pandemic. Like Sean Gordon Murphy, he's been very informative. His stuff is partially due to the pandemic and the printing. But prior to that, one of the other factors that I don't like is paying up front. I actually like the fact that with Kickstarter, they have a date. If they don't hit that date, you don't get the money. And, you know, if they don't make that goal. Whereas Indiegogo, I'm a little bit more leery. You know, this is my personal thing. Because if I pay you for a campaign, and I've done it, like I said, I've done some Indiegogo, so don't get it twisted. But if I pay you for a campaign and the campaign doesn't fund and you decide to just keep the money, you can just keep the money. Now, as I've talked to a few people and stuff, I've heard some horror stories where they've never gotten their stuff, or the stuff didn't come through all the way like the way they wanted it and stuff like that, and they kind of abused the system. Well, Indiegogo team would GoFundMe, and now they have this new thing where they're going to start, quote unquote, some people will call it gatekeeping, I call it check-in. Now, if this is more of a they're here to check you, the way it's been worded and what I read, because the only reason why I originally heard about this was because a bunch of comic pros started patting themselves in the back like, we're going to get rid of the wrong thinking people, because they're so, all these people that jump on sides, you're so simple and so dumb, you don't realize that this stuff kickbacks on you eventually. So let's say you falsely report that these people are bad to Indiegogo. Well, eventually it's going to be harder for you if the stuff turns on you. And I've seen it happen where the industry turns on you. Now, a big factor to this is they said that there's a lot of people complaining, and I don't disagree because I've had it myself. But I'm a little bit more patient than a lot of people, where Indiegogo campaigns are not getting their stuff on time. And I'm not talking about, oh, we're a couple months late. I'm talking about, we were supposed to get something back in March of 2021 or 2019, and we're about to head into 2022, and we've only gotten like 3 updates. And we're like, where is this stuff? Where is this book? Where is this thing? And that happens quite often, actually. from the few campaigns I've backed. There's one campaign I wanted to back, but you know, situation doesn't. There's monsters in the backpack, but they extended it. If I can, I also want to do that Star Wars girl calendar because I like her cosplays. But it's crazy because I kind of know how she delivers because I've seen her campaigns before, at least a couple. But overall, it's like a lot of people don't deliver, and it's like the Wild Wild West. So there are people who are going to be pissy. Also, too, I looked into Indiegogo to start a campaign just to see what would happen. It seems like you're paying them to do nothing. And it always starts where if someone, you know, the multiple choices for platforms are there for a reason. Kickstarter is easier for some people. Indiegogo is easier for others. But people are so stupid and tribal that they'll sit there and go, well, you did Indiegogo, so that means you're this kind of person. No, it's about the money. And stop trying to tell people what they are. They'll tell you. And then it's like, well, if you do Kickstarter, you like gatekeeping. Well, yes, they do gatekeep on Kickstarter. The thing is, I still do it because I opt out. Do I think it's fair that they do all that? No. But tell you the truth, I don't think it's fair that Marvel and DC don't pay their employees who write their comics enough funds for them to truly care. Does that mean I need to stop reading all the books that I like from them because of it? No. That's not how it works. People have individual thoughts. Now, back to the subject at hand, just for all the people that want to go, oh, you're going to go after, you're going to blah, 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 blah. Shut your mouth. And listen. Open your ears up. They need to be railed in a little bit. Like I said, I have one in particular. And his campaign has been he started other campaigns. I've gotten one or two, no problem. But the main original campaign, I'm like, where is this? And there's so much going on. It's like, dude, get this done. It's time. Now, if you're one of the people, you know who I'm talking about. Like I said, I have a particular video where I'm going to bring them up, and I don't want to seem like I'm ragging. I have another person that I'm on an Indiegogo campaign, and they're like, well, we're getting around to it. We're trying to do the printing. And people are like, well, why don't you just switch the printing company? Well, we don't want to switch them. We kind of like this printing company. It's like, okay, but they're not getting the job done, and now you're like several months late. Like, what are we supposed to do? Just sit here with our thumbs up our butts? So now, basically, from how I understand it, what they're doing is that they're basically going to talk or communicate with the people who are running these funds to see if they have a plan to execute sending out these things. And I think that's a good thing. If it helps customers get their stuff on time or in a timely fashion or faster, that is good. Where I worry is it can go off the rails if they let the angry people jump in and start to go, well, no, you got to do this. And no, you got to do that. Like, don't do that. Just because you don't like what they think, stay away from them. The best way to combat anyone when you don't like their stuff is don't purchase it. Don't follow it. Don't deal with it. But you're not going to destroy someone because you want to be woke and you don't like that people aren't woke. Get over yourself. And you're not going to destroy people who you feel as though is an alt-right, whatever. Get over yourself. The best way to do it is don't purchase their stuff and stick to your own game. So there's going to be people who are going to try to screw some people over in the CG crowds and whatnot, and it's going to backfire because eventually they're going to realize that it's going to make it harder for them to do stuff. And what it really comes down to, what it boils down to is, if you're going to do your campaign, and if they're being honest about how, and I don't know with GoFundMe, I'm like, but maybe they're using GoFundMe because GoFundMe is really good at trying to keep it, because there's people who cause fraud. I've talked to people who've never gotten their stuff, and it's been like 5 years. There's people who never gotten a lot of their things. So maybe they're like, to get this platform to be better and to be even more utilized, how about we stop letting people just run stuff and maybe scam people for tons of money and actually make sure they have to deliver on time. They even talked about bringing some, trying to communicate, maybe kicking you off the platform where you can't start campaigns anymore. Or if you're trying to keep kicking off campaigns, but you're not getting your other campaigns done, to slow you down until you get the other campaign done. And to the point, they said that they will actually take legal action if they have to. And I think that is a good thing, because at the end of the day, more comics out there, the better, but you gotta do your job. Like, I get that life happens. Trust me, I've written a comic book before, and life hit me and it jacked up a lot. And I almost missed my editing deadline, the whole nine. It was crazy. I was able to make it at like the buzzer. So I understand if it's not your main job, it becomes a lot more difficult. But for some of these people that I've seen, it is their main source of income. So if it is, and you are living off of it, you have to, I get if you're a 2-person team or a 3-person team or a few people team, or it's a video game or something, but you gotta get close to your deadlines. And if you're not, you gotta be communicative. So I agree, if this helps out people who have backed this stuff, get their product and get the full product and everything that comes with it, all the swag. What I don't want to see, and I hope they are aware, there are people who do want people to fall, and because they want them to fall, they are hoping that they can ruin their campaigns. So, right now, I'm kind of leaning towards this is a good thing. I know some people will whine about its gatekeeping or checking, but in all honesty, if it benefits the customers who are backing them, who are supporting these people to get their dreams to come true, it's only right. If I'm giving you my money, you got to keep in communication with me and get my stuff in a timely fashion. I'm not even saying you got to be on time. If you're telling me, hey, you're supposed to get this book or this item or this video game by March 2022, and it is now May, you need to have informed me that, hey, probably by this time we are working double time to get it done. Maybe we will get it to you by August. Someplace, I've even had a couple campaigns actually give you a little extra something because of it. I've done them on a couple of unlock-ins. So tell me what you think about this. Are you a person who doesn't support Kickstarter? Are you hate IG, or are you the IG people who don't support Kickstarter? Are you saying crowdfunding's bad? I would love to hear people's opinions about this and what they think. It's not me coming at IG because I back both. So if you try to sit there and say, oh, you're this thing, well, I back on both. I've done it. Sometimes when I've shown stuff off, it's been from both. So deal with it, because I don't fall for these stupid politics or these little culture wars that are really kind of dumb when you could win it just by simply ignoring the other side, unless it's a conversation that needs to be had. I don't mean blocking them away. Listen to what they say, but don't sit there. When I mean by ignoring them, I mean trying to actively go out and ruin their stuff or stop them from living their lives or making money or feeding their families. I'd love to hear what you guys think. Geek Protagonists, you stay safe, you stay healthy, you stay real. And I'll see ya.